Hey, good morning, my friends. Dr. Gabe Roberts, the subconscious healer here, today with another Breaking Free from Pain video. And in this one, I'd like to talk to you about behind every symptom, there's a belief. And one of the most powerful things you can start to do to shift that belief. Before we do that, let's take a moment to give our brain and our body a signal of safety. Your amygdala will thank you for that. We place our hand over our heart, putting all our attention, all of our focus, all of our awareness right here, like a giant spotlight, just lighting up our heart center. Then we slow our breathing down, taking 3 nice, slow, deep breaths, exhaling longer than we inhale for. Add a nice smile to the end of that. Allow yourself to feel feelings of gratitude for whatever it is. Gratitude for something in your life. There's definitely something there that you can be thankful for. You may need to search for it, but find it. Allow yourself to feel those feelings of gratitude. And those 3 things together provide coherence between the brain and body, and give a really powerful message to our system that we are safe. Now, behind every symptom, there's a belief. And I have found that to be absolutely true. And usually the symptom, whatever it is, the symptom can be anything from an ache, a pain, tension somewhere. I've even seen weaknesses in places, okay? Weaknesses in shoulders, weaknesses in arms. It can be rash, it can be digestive, it can be a number of things. But behind any one of these symptoms that's ongoing, there's a belief beneath it, a belief beneath the surface. And usually that belief has something to do with not feeling safe. Sometimes whenever a person feels like I'm not enough, it typically translates to something about it's not safe to be me. It's not safe, to be who I am. Or I can't trust myself. I can't trust life in some way. But again, it's all along that, it's all along the resonance of not feeling safe. So one of the things that we can start to do to kind of derail this cascade that starts to happen whenever these things are triggered within us, these unprocessed traumas, these past stressors, when our emotional reservoir fills up to the top of all the daily things throughout life, everything from taking care of our kids, paying our mortgage, getting to work on time, meeting deadlines, etc. These things they can start to initiate some kind of signal to the brain that we aren't safe. And the only way that we really know that is we have a flare-up. We have a symptom that increases. We have a symptom that suddenly shows itself. And it shows itself in a way that you simply can't ignore it. So what's the most powerful way, or one of the most powerful ways to start to derail this cascade of symptoms occurring, is to learn to be indifferent with it. What do I mean by that? I mean, learn not to care about it. And I'm not saying ignore it, okay? Symptoms are like fire alarms. They're designed in a way to get your attention where you can't ignore them. And ignoring it is just bad advice. What I'm teaching you, what I'm sharing with you, is a way to subtly give your brain a signal of safety, is when you are not showing concern for it. So when a symptom happens, when you have back pain, neck pain, digestive disturbance, heartburn, okay? tension in the head, a headache, neck pain, whatever it may be, that's been there for a long time. If you can condition yourself over time, start noticing how you're treating your symptom, how you're reacting to it, and then start to react less. Start to panic less when you have those flare-ups. Start to give it less attention in a way that you just don't care. When you can start to give that message to yourself, and you can give that message to your brain, oh, there's the back pain, I just really don't care. Oh, there's the neck pain, there's the headache, there's the digestive disturbance, and you just really don't care. You over time, you condition yourself to where you remain neutral, where you don't panic. What you do is you start to lessen the intensity. The amygdala is you lower the intensity of the feedback the amygdala is getting. So your amygdala is kind of the start of the alarm system, and it can sense things that your eyes may not be able to pick up and your ears may not be able to hear. It can pick up things, subtleties in the environment, that can cue you that some kind of danger is nearby beyond the five senses. So it's like a sixth sense in a way. I mean, there's interesting literature on people that are blind, and yet whenever someone stares at them, their amygdala lights right up, you know. So that goes to show the amygdala doesn't need the five senses to detect danger in the environment. Again, the brain doesn't feel safe, symptoms go on. So one of the ways to kind of start to decrease the potency of that sensitization that the amygdala has of not feeling safe is simply not caring. Yes, whenever you have a flare-up. Yes, when your back hurts, when your neck hurts, when you have a reoccurring rash, when you have that knee pain that starts on again. It is very typical for people to react in a way that they're upset, react in a way of, oh, there it is again. I thought I had beaten this. I thought I'd gotten past this. I have a lot to do today, and now my back pain is slowing me down. You know, those kinds of reactions. What we want to do is minimize those. We want to start being aware that every time we're doing that, we're pinging that amygdala even more. And when the amygdala gets pinged, it's going to interpret that we are really in trouble, that there's really, a predator breathing down the back of our neck. And when that happens, the symptoms are just going to increase in their intensity. That's how it works. So what's the first step? When you notice those symptoms, know that there's some belief beneath it. And how you can dampen this belief and how you can dampen and dim the amygdala, the alarm system pinging and going off, is to simply notice your symptoms and minimize the reaction you give them. Notice your symptoms, panic less. Notice your symptoms. Don't let your brain go off on a tangent on the worst case scenarios of, oh great, here it is, and it's going to be around, and oh my gosh, all this other stuff we could potentially do. Okay, we can easily do that, and all we do is make things worse when we panic and we go down that road of worst case scenario. We don't want to do that. We want to catch that. We want to be aware of that. And when we have the symptom, when we have the flare-up, when we have the pain, when we have the ache, start conditioning ourselves to look at it with less intent, with less focus, like we just don't care. Whenever we start to condition ourselves to do that, like we just don't care, we don't react, we don't panic, and we just, oh, there it is, who cares? Not even giving it a second thought. When we start to develop this kind of mindset, our amygdala, that's always sensing things, starts to catch on that we don't care. It starts to catch on that we aren't reacting. It starts to catch on that we aren't really clinging to our symptoms, and we're not clinging to the pain and the aches, and we're not panicking about it. It starts to kind of catch on, and as it starts to catch on that we don't care, it starts to care less and less and less. And when that happens, you'll notice your symptoms start to diminish in their intensity. And it may take a while, especially if it's been there for years. Your brain could be highly conditioned to react, almost in an exaggerated way to symptoms. But when you can understand that behind every symptom, there's a belief, there's a perception, there's a calling for it, and you start giving that calling less and less intensity by just starting to look at it in a way you don't care, your brain's natural response to that over time, and done with consistency, your brain's natural response is to start lowering the threshold of that alarm system. It starts to realize you're not caring much about this. Hey, you're not caring about this back pain or this sciatica or this knee pain or this headache. You're not caring about this irritable bowel or this pelvic pain or whatever it may be, these allergies, whatever it may be. And so if you're not caring about them, you're not giving them the focus, the attention, the panic, the catastrophizing them, basically making the worst possible scenario. When you start to not do that with your symptoms, your brain over time starts to realize that, hey, you're not caring, so I don't care either. And when that starts to happen, you can actually dial back your symptoms. This stuff actually works. I've worked with a number of people in the last month, and when I asked them about their symptoms, they have taken on they've taken this on with encouragement and enthusiasm. They train themselves to not care about their symptoms, and they get to the point where they don't even notice them anymore. I ask, hey, how's your stomach pain? How's your liver pain? How's your neck pain? And they go, I really don't even notice it anymore, because they're not paying attention to it. They're not giving it that worst case scenario type of energy anymore. And so the brain is starting to dial back its own threat response. When the brain starts to dial back its own alarm systems, the symptoms start to diminish as well. So take a moment and do that for yourself. Look at your symptoms as an opportunity to retrain your brain for safety. And how you do that? You don't care. You just look at them like, there you are again. I don't care. I don't care. Train yourself to look at your symptoms that way, and watch how your brain and your body start to react.